Hey everybody, my name is Nick Osborne. I'm a math teacher at El Cajon Valley High School here in San Diego County. I wanted to present to you guys about the deep web and the dangers of the deep web, things that our students could potentially be at risk for being exposed to. So I wanted to talk to you about some different aspects about that. So first of all, I just want to put out there that the internet that we all know is only a small portion of what we actually know and see. So, most of the sites that we use on a daily basis, like the web, that we know, such as Google and Facebook and Bing and our Gmail, it's really only 4 to 10% of the internet that we use. So think of all the different websites that you use on a daily basis. This is really just the surface of the actual internet itself. The other 80 to 90% is what we call the deep web. Now, it's not necessarily all the deep web is bad. It's not immoral or illegal, but it's good to be aware of what's out there. And the deep web is actually a place of privacy and accessibility to the public, and it's a good thing. Private institutions such as banks and businesses, government agencies, and even us, we use it for our own private or even our cloud accounts. We all have things stored in the cloud nowadays, such as Google Drive and iCloud and Dropbox and all that. This is all the area of the deep web we want protected. We want it to be private and not accessible by people. Journalists use it all to transmit information privately to avoid being traced. Or even I know some missionaries that are in some very kind of hostile regions, and they need a way to be able to transmit and communicate without being caught. In these areas where if they were found out they were Christian or sending out information about the gospel, that would put them in a really bad situation. And the biggest reason, honestly, like I said, is for privacy. However, the part that I'm focusing on in the presentation is the dark side that's filled with illicit content and should be avoided. Users in this dark part of the deep web use the space for the privacy and anonymity of it, because the way it works, it's actually everything's encrypted. It's not traceable like it is. Like you and I use IP addresses, like assigns us an actual address, so that when we visit a site, that's recorded, and if somebody were to look it up, they could see exactly who visited the site and from where. They use the dark web for selling drugs, weapons, swapping child pornography, all these horrible things like human trafficking and even terrorism. They use it for communication because it's really difficult to trace itself. And though the sites again are encrypted, when you're actually visiting it, the dark web, your profile is not really anonymous. It's anonymous when you serve it, but it doesn't mean you're safe. I mean, law enforcement monitors these sites often, which if our students or people are trying to do that, they got to be careful, because if they're doing something illegal, law enforcement could be right there watching them and they don't even know it. And they could put them in a really bad situation at such a young age. And also, you could be monitored by a hacker who has, the skills and the ability to actually monitor, even though it's encrypted. So it really puts you at risk. And there's actually this website that I saw some other people have presented on, Tor. And if you search it, it comes right up. The first thing pops up here, and all you do is you download this software, and it allows you to access the dark side of this web. And so, like I said, law enforcement tries their best to regulate and capture criminals, but it's something that's really growing kind of way faster than government agencies can keep up with. In recent years, there was a big case about this website called the Silk Road. The Silk Road hosted all kinds of different sales, and including drugs and guns and even hiring for contract killing. The creator, this guy named Roger Ulbricht, he had almost $100 million in online currency. The currency which we call Bitcoin, which maybe some of you guys are familiar with. It's a different type of currency to exchange online, which isn't as traceable as, say, money, which uses credit cards and that sort of thing. And so here's just an example of the actual site itself, and you can see there's all types of drugs and things that are right there on the page that people could get access to. In Australia, I found a study about how purchasing in drugs is becoming more and more popular. In that they found that 1 out of 10 people who actually use drugs are purchasing their drugs online. And as we know with technology, things spread fast. And I'm sure this is something that's going to grow and grow and grow. The best advice is for you guys and for your students, just avoid it. Avoid the dark web for putting yourself at risk for, repercussions, whether, you find something that you don't want to see, get yourself in trouble, or someone, actually finds you and actually traces you, whether that's somebody bad or the law enforcement. And I say, don't be tempted. Avoid it at all costs. I found this one site where this guy had talked about it. He was really curious. He wanted to go check it out. Ended up putting himself in a really sticky situation. Ended up on some site. Oops, I apologize about that. He ended up seeing actually a live feed of someone being tortured. It was this woman, and there were thousands of people actually watching. He could see all the usernames of people watching. And it was horrifying. The woman was actually eventually killed. And, these are things that are easily accessible. He didn't have to pay a thing to actually watch it, which is the horrifying thing. And this woman who's in some foreign country was totally, taken advantage of for people's entertainment. So it's these things like this, and access to instructions on how to build a bomb. I mean, our schools today, that's the last thing that we ever want to hear about is our students having access to these things, even just to see it. So it's something that's really important that we all need to acknowledge and teach our students about. Let them know that this stuff is out there. So thanks for joining me. Here's my references, and if you have any questions, you can contact me.